Hey everybody, welcome back to another Fuzzy Owl ASMR video. Today I'm going to be doing a random deck, so this is another Commander or EDH deck, and so if you're not familiar with the format, EDH stands for Elder Dragon Highlander, and Commander is a format where you have one card specifically that you're supposed to build the mechanics around. So if it sounds complicated, don't worry. I'm not super familiar with this deck, and I'm looking for people in the comments to tell me how to better it, essentially, and how to utilize it to its best potential. I played a couple games with it and got a little bit to learn with it. So I actually received this deck a while ago for my birthday. And let's see here. Game, by the way. Gamegenics. Awesome company. They make great cases. But let's crack this open here. And yes, same as my last deck, I have the Baby Godzilla sleeves, which I absolutely love. But let's look at what we got here. So I'll put these right in the middle. And yeah, like I said, I'm kind of just looking for some advice, and hopefully you guys enjoy this as well. So my commander in this deck is Shu Yun, the Silent Tempest. He's a legendary creature, human monk, 3/2. He's got Prowess, which, by the way, this is a Jeskai deck, so it's red, white, and blue. And Prowess is a mechanic where whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so an instant or a sorcery, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And it stacks multiple times. So if I have a lot of low cost instants and sorceries in this deck, I can do this a bunch and make him much higher than just a 3/2. He also has, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay a red or a white, and a red or a white. So any combination of those two, red or white, so red and white, or red, white, white. If you do, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. So double strike is a mechanic that can be very, very useful. So Shu Yun, the Silent Tempest, this is our commander. I received this a while ago from friends who know I like to play Jeskai. So I'll put him over in the corner here. And we're just going to go through this and see if there's anything good in it. Like I said, I've played a few games with this, and I've had some okay results. But nothing major, so I need to learn a little bit how to use this. So to start off here, we have a card called Azorius Signet. It's an artifact for two of any color. You pay 1, and then you tap this card, and it adds a white and a blue. So remember, we're playing with red, white, and blue in this. So this adds a white and a blue to your mana pool. So pretty useful artifact there. This has got me out of a couple pickles, so you got this early on, you pop it on the field, and then you got some pretty good things going as far as land, which is important. Speaking of land, here we have the Highland Lake. Enters the battlefield tapped, and you tap it for a red or a blue. So not and, red or blue. So you got to kind of pick one. Rune Chanter's Pike. So this is an artifact for 2 of any color. And it's equipment too. So equipped creature has first strike and gets +X/+0, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard, and it costs 2 to equip. So you play it for 2, and then you equip it for 2 to any creature. Now this is important because remember, we're playing a Jeskai Prowess deck, so we should have a heck of a lot of instants and sorceries in our graveyard. So that can really buff a creature there. Now, keep in mind, I don't necessarily know the win condition for this deck, so if you spot one, make sure you let me know in the comments. This is actually the first time I've just gone through this card by card, and I just wanted to make a video about it. So, Temple of Enlightenment, it's land, enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you can scry 1, and then you can add a white or a blue when you tap it. Scry, for those of you that don't know, is you just look at the top card of your deck, and then you decide if you want to keep it and play that next, or you can put it on the bottom of your deck. Okay. Sunforger. For 3, it's an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. It has another ability here for red and white, unattached Sunforger. Search your library for a red or white instant card with converted mana cost 4 or less and cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then shuffle your library, equip 3. So that's a pretty powerful move if you unequip this with that additional red and white cost. You can kind of find a card that's red or white for 4 or less, and usually instants and sorceries for around 4 converted mana cost can be pretty powerful. So we'll see what we have in here. Plea for Power. So costs 3 and a blue. It's a sorcery. Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for time or knowledge. If time gets more votes, take an extra turn after this one. If knowledge gets more votes or the vote is tied, draw 3 cards. So it's a nice little sorcery. It's card draw or a whole extra turn, which can be pretty useful. And I've used this one to pretty good effect before. Slip Through Space. It's 1 blue. It's a sorcery, so you can't cast it at instant speed. It's got to be on your turn, but it has Devoid. This card has no color. Target creature can't be blocked this turn and draw a card. So this is something you want to use on a turn where you know you're going to be swinging with Shu Yun after you've significantly buffed Shu Yun quite a lot. So after he's super powerful from Prowess, then you play this. This guy can't be blocked, and depending on how you play your cards, you could hit enough commander damage, which I believe is 21 to end a game. You have 40 life total, but if you hit with the commander 21 points, then you win or you defeat that opponent. So you can get some pretty cool stuff out of this. Invigorated Rampage. It's 1 and a red. It's an instant. Target creature gets +4 and gains trample until end of turn. You can choose one of these, or 2 target creatures get +2/+0 and gain trample until end of turn. So you can kind of divvy up the power and abilities among 1 or 2. Island. Plains. All right, Distortion Strike. It's 1 blue. It's a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. It also has Rebound. So if you cast this spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. So that's pretty good. Again, another way to get our little buddy over here some swinging in for some high damage. So that's something you want to do for sure. Also, it's a sorcery and an instant, so it gives him Prowess too. Fact or Fiction, it's 3 and a blue. It's an instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So, yeah. Kind of give your opponent a choice of how you want to destroy them. But that's a pretty cool card. Again, it's a sorcery, so it buffs. It has Prowess. It adds Prowess to Shu Yun. Land. Enters battlefield. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. When you tap this one, it's red and blue. So, excuse me, it's not red or blue. It's red and blue to your mana pool. Ajani's Presence is 1 white. It's an instant. It has Strive. Ajani's Presence costs 2 colorless and a white more to cast for each target beyond the first. So it's 1 if you want to do this to 1, or it's +2 and a white extra for each target you want to. So if you have a big mana pool up, you can do this to multiple people or multiple targets. Any number of target creatures each get +1/+1 and gain indestructible until end of turn. So indestructible is a pretty cool mechanic. I love the old art on these guys. So Shadow Rift is 1 blue. Again, you'll see a lot of these 1 blues or 1 whites just to kind of buff Prowess, but also have some cool effects. It's an instant, so I can cast it at any point in the game. Target creature gains Shadow until end of turn. This creature can be blocked or be blocked by only creatures with Shadow, and then draw a card. So, yeah. That's a pretty cool one. Emerge Unscathed. It's 1 white. It's an instant, so I can cast it any time. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. It also has Rebound, so again, the whole exile and then cast it again for no cost. This is one of those dual sorceries. So it has Insult and Injury. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like these are backwards. Like the one should be the other. Let's read it and see. So for Insult, it casts 2 in a red. 2 in a black. Yeah, that's black for sure. Sorcery. So damage can't be prevented this turn. If a source you control would deal damage this turn, it deals double that damage instead, which is cool. And then Injury here is Aftermath. Cast a spell only from your graveyard, then exile it. Injury deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. So, a little dual sorcery there. Pretty cool card. Aqueous Form. Costs 1 blue. Many of those. This also counts towards Prowess because it's a non-creature card. So, enchantment, artifacts, all that stuff counts towards Prowess. Enchantment Aura, Enchant Creature. Enchanted creature can't be blocked. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, scry 1. So this is a very, very good card because, again, we want this guy to get a lot of damage through and end the game quickly. And when he can't be blocked, you're doing commander damage with this guy. And he can buff himself up quite a bit. And every time he attacks, you scry. So you get to kind of see what cards you got coming up next, and you can choose what to do from there. So very cool enchantment here. Seeker of the Way, it's 1 in a white. It's a creature, human warrior, which also has Prowess for 2/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Seeker of the Way gains lifelink until end of turn. So, little life gain there. Every time you do damage, whatever damage hits anything, you gain that amount of life. Coastal Tower, beautiful art. I love these old borders. I almost wish Magic would go back to borders like this. I know they're doing some pretty creative things with their art style, but I love this. Coastal Tower comes into play tap, and you add a white or a blue. It's got some cool flavor text there. Really like that card. Brainstorm, again, you'll see another 1 blue. Instant, draw 3 cards, then take 2 cards from your hand and put them on top of your library in any order. So a little bit of control there, and adds Prowess. Only costs 1 to cast. How am I doing on battery? Okay, good. Bedlam Reveler. It's 6 and 2 red. It's a creature, devil horror. It's a 3/4. When it Bedlam Reveler costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. So, yeah, you can get this thing down to just costing 2 because you can't get rid of those 2 reds. When Bedlam Reveler enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. So this is kind of I'll cast a 3/4 for 2. Typically later in the game, and I'll redo my hand. This is kind of a nice little control situation there. Titan Strength. It's an instant. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn, and you scry. So a little bit of control and a big old buff for a creature. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, I don't even know how to say this. Surakar Spellblade. I messed up the wrong word. So it's 1 and 2 blue, and it's a creature, Surakar. 2/1. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may put a charge counter on Surakar Spellblade. Whenever Surakar Spellblade deals combat damage to a player, you may draw X cards, where X is the number of charge counters on it. So this is card draw, which is great in Commander because you only get 1 of each card, if you didn't know that already. And if you're really hurting for your combos there, this guy can potentially get you a little bit closer. So, pretty cool. Compulsive Research, 2 and a blue. It's sorcery. Target player draws 3 cards. Then that player discards 2 cards unless he or she discards a land. So if you got a lot of land, you don't got to discard anything. But, if you're just trying to cycle through some stuff and get where you need to get, this'll do a good job. Jace's Sanctum. I call this something else, but I will not say it here. 3 and a blue enchantment. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So, pretty cool. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. So a lot of control in this deck, a lot of figuring out what you're going to do next, and a little bit of foresight. Valorous Stance, so it's 1 in a red. My God, what is going on with me today? It's 1 in a white, not a red. Instant, choose 1. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn, or target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Or destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. I can't read today. This is a good one because it can really save your butt in a pinch, and it can also save your commander if he's about to be destroyed and he's buffed up and you need the damage to go through, or you just don't want to pay his additional tax to cast him again. Island. We got Spellweaver Volute. It's 3 and 2 blue to cast. It says it over here this time. It's an enchantment aura. Enchant instant card in a graveyard. So in a graveyard. Whenever you play a sorcerer spell, copy the enchanted instant card. You may play the copy without paying its extra mana cost. If you do, remove the enchanted card from the game and attach Spellweaver Volute to another instant card in a graveyard. So, pretty tricky little enchantment there. My stomach just growled. Probably going to leave it in because I want to do this without many edits. All right, Cyclonic Rift. It's 1 and a blue. Instant, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Overload 6 and a blue. You may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. So you can do some pretty cool stuff there. Gutter Snipe, 2 and a red. Creature, Goblin Shaman, it's a 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. So this guy, just a little bit of extra damage output. Boros Signet, it's 2, it's an artifact. Pay 1 and tap this card to add red and white to your mana pool. So similar to the first card that we had. Was it Azorius Signet? And instead of white and blue, it's red and white. Ponder, another cool little card for 1 blue. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library and draw a card, so a little more control there. Vivid Meadow, it's a land. Enters with 2 charge counters on it. You can tap to add 1 white to your mana pool, or tap it and remove a charge counter from Vivid Meadow to add 1 of any color to your mana pool. So that's a cool little card in a pinch. Azorius Guildgate, enters battlefield tapped, white or blue. Counterflux. So Counterflux here is 2 blue and a red. It's an instant. Counterflux can't be countered by spells or abilities. Counter target spell you don't control, and it has an overload cast cost as well. Mystic Monastery, red or blue, red, or white, or not and. Monastery Mentor, 2 in a white. It's a 2/2 human monk creature with prowess. So we got a lot of prowess going on in here. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess onto the battlefield. So again, you get some tokens. This isn't necessarily a token deck, it doesn't seem, but this could come in handy when you got a bunch of creatures swinging wide with prowess. So you can buff them all. Excuse me. All right, Narset Enlightened Master. It's 3, a blue, red, and white. It's a legendary creature human monk for 3/2. It has first strike and hexproof, so it can't be affected by spells. And it has first strike, so hits first. Whenever Narset Enlightened Master attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library until end of turn. You may cast non-creature cards exiled with Narset this turn without paying the mana cost. Pretty freaking cool. So every time he attacks, I swing with him. I either do some damage or just bounce. Hopefully he's not dying. I exile the top 4 cards in my library, giving me a little control. If they're instants or sorceries, or enchantments or artifacts, I can just cast them. Pretty cool. Stone Quarry, red or white. All right. Niblis of Frost, 2 and 2 blue. 3/3, flying with prowess. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So a little more control there. Nothing too bad in here. I feel like there's nothing that'll make anybody hate you. But let's see what we got here next. Isochrone Scepter for 2. My camera's probably about to die soon, so I might not read everything on these. But yeah. Okay, so we got another land here. This one is a red and a white, so it taps for red and white. White or blue. A mountain. In fact, we haven't hit all the land yet, so maybe it's just shuffled poorly. Here's a cool one I got. Counter spell. So for 2 blue, counter target spell. It's an instant. So just any spell someone plays, you just counter it for 2. And I got some pretty cool little art on that. Terramorphic Expanse. It's a land. Island. Oops. Yeah, I'm hitting a lot of land now. Disdainful Stroke for 1 and a blue. It's an instant. Counter target spell with converted mana cost 4 or greater. So if someone plays someone big and scary, or a big and scary combo is coming, and you know which card has 4 or greater converted mana cost, that'll take care of it. I love this art. Swords of Plowshares. I hope I'm saying that right. For 1 white. It's an instant. Remove target creature from the game. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power. So if it's a big creature, yeah, you might be buffing up some life, but it might be worth it to get some creatures off, as they do horrible, horrible things in Commander. So that's a good card to have. Blue or red. All right, we got Talrend Sky Summoner for 2 and 2 blue. It's a legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. There we go. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying onto the battlefield, and it's a 2/2. So it's like Prowess, but you get dragons instead of just extra power. I'll take it. And from Merfolk, I like Merfolk. Shelter for 1 and a white instant. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Draw a card. So if anyone's trying to swing at Shu Yun, your commander, or anyone else, you can protect them. Wandering Fumarole enters tapped. You can also do something here with it. Island. You know what that's for. Yeah, hitting some land now. All right, Myth Realized for 1 white. Enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a lore counter on Myth Realized. For 2 and a white, put a lore counter on Myth Realized. And for 1 white until end of turn, Myth Realized becomes a monk avatar creature in addition to its other types and gains this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lore counters on it. So you basically just buff this guy up with lore counters. Pretty cool. This is another add, a white and a blue. Land. Yeah, hitting some land here. Red or white. Land. Brute Force for 1 red. This guy is an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Not only does he do that, but he also triggers Prowess. A beautiful mountain card. Preordained for 1 blue. It's a sorcery. Scry 2, then draw a card. Again, triggers Prowess and a little bit of deck control there. Dark Steel Ingot for 3. Indestructible. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It's a nice little artifact. Some land. We're hitting a lot of land here. Another beautiful mountain. So Concentrate here. This is 2 and 2 blue. It's a sorcery. Draw 3 cards. So again, if you're top decking or you don't like your hand and you want to, maybe discard some things because you're going to overflow, concentrate. Concentrate. For 2 and a blue, you get Frantic Search. Instant, draw 2 cards, then choose and discard 2 cards. Untap up to 3 lands. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool little instant there. And triggers Prowess, naturally. What do we got here? Come on. Reckless Charge for a red. There we go. Sorcery. Target creature gets +3 and gains haste until end of turn. Flash it back for 2 and a red. Again, prowess up the wazoo. I feel like I need more creatures in this, though. Just going to go ahead and say that. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. So World at War, 3 and 2 red, sorcery. After the first post-combat main phase, this turn, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures that attacked this turn. And it has rebound. Pretty cool. It's as if they had vigilance. All right, Faithless Looting for 1 red. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Also has flashback. A lot of deck control in this, which is good. For her blue and her red, it's an instant, choose 1. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2, or is it charm deals 2 damage to target creature, or draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So, little bit of choice going on there. Shivan Reef. Mizzium Mortars. So for 1 and a red, deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control, or you can overload it for 3 and 3 red. Again, replacing all instances of target with each. So, hitting the board instead of just 1 creature. Built to smash for 1 red, instant, target creature gains, target attacking creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If it's an artifact creature, it gains trample until end of turn. Cool. I like that. Is it Singed? 2. Tap. For 1 and tap, add red and blue. So the other Signet. Jeskai Banner. 3. Some land. Artifact that allows you some mana. Borrowed Hostility. Instant. Choose 1 or both. Target creature gets +3 until end of turn. Target creature gains first strike until end of turn. All right. This should be easier to do it this way now. Land. Pull from the Deep, 2 and 2 blue. It's a sorcery. Return up to 1 target instant card and up to 1 target sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Pull from the Deep. We got Relentless Assault, 2 and 2 red. Untap all creatures that attacked this turn. After the main phase, there is an additional combat phase by an additional main phase. So, pretty cool. Glorybringer, as I like to call Glory Hole Bringer, 3 and 2 red. Creature, dragon, flying, haste. It's a 4/4. You may exert Glorybringer as it attacks. When you do, it deals 4 damage to target non-dragon creature an opponent controls. Exert just means you can't do anything with it. Next step doesn't untap. But it's my foil one, which I like. Seething Anger for 1 red. You can buy it back for 3. You may pay an additional 3 when you play this spell. If you do, put it in your hand instead of your graveyard as part of the spell's effect. Target creature gets +3 until end of turn. Sorry, there's a car going in the background. Metallic Summonings, 3 and 2 blue enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create an XX colorless construct artifact creature token where X is the spell's converted mana cost. It's got some extra text there if you want to pause and read it. Negate, 1 and a blue, counter target non-creature spell. Self-explanatory, also adds to Prowess. Charmbreaker Devils, 5 and a red. It's a creature that's a devil, 4/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4 until end of turn. So pretty cool little devil here. All right, my battery died there. So Crimson Wisps. I'll do this quick. Feather the Redeemed, 1 red and 2 white, 3/4 flying. I'll let you read that. Now we're getting to some creatures. Jeskai Ascendancy for a blue, red, and white. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. And Command Tower. So, I feel like in this deck here, we have some pretty cool stuff going for it. Shu Yun, the Silent Tempest, I've heard is a good commander in most cases, and my friends play with decks that are like crazy, crazy high level, and I can never compete, so I kind of just like to play with them and enjoy the ride. But if you noticed anything in here that are really good combos, please let me know. If there's any good suggestions you have for swapping things out, please let me know. And if you fell asleep, good night. If you enjoyed, like the video, subscribe. I want to build up a community with you guys, and I love doing these little deck walkthroughs, I suppose you could call them. And I'll have plenty more things planned for the channel as well. So like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. See you.